Hi, I'm Keegan, and we're a bunch of gamers. This is Werewolf the Apocalypse, episode 73, Descent into Duat. In our last episode, the packs drove out to the Silent Strider Grand Moot, determined to learn about ancestor spirits and ghosts to stop whatever is controlling Howling-King and manipulating the political landscape of the Sept of the Sacred Stone. Gathering information from various Striders, the pack begins to work out a strategy, with Zeb deciding to stay behind to learn the right descent into the underworld to aid the group in their quest. I'm going to have my players now introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Sam. I play Cora. She's an Arun in the Getafenis.
I'm Tyler, and I play Kyle, also known as Guards the Low. He's a Philodox of the Children of Gaia.
Hi, I'm Adam. I play Mark Guides the Fallen, and he's a Thurge of the Children of Gaia.
Hi, I'm George. I'm playing Roy Mindscape. He is a Ragabosh with the Stargazers.
Hi, I'm Sean. I play Zeb Speaks-in-Sweet-Whispers. He is a Theurge of the Silent Striders.
Hello, I'm Thomas. I play Dimitri Howls-In-Memory, Lupus Galliard of the Bonars.
The moot continues, and a longtime friend of Zeb approaches. Zeb, after your discussion with Wind's Fickle Step about learning the descent into the underworld right, you're approached by a familiar face. A red-headed woman with a dusty, old plaid and hiking cargo shorts starts to approach you. It is Tori Sands of the Stream, one who has traveled with you in your past. She approaches, smiling. Zebulon?
Tori, I'm very glad to see you here. I'd heard talk, but this is most welcome.
I've heard talk too. You guys are not very subtle. Some rumors about how your pack is dealing with a ghost, you think? Or some sort of ancestor spirit?
I'm glad you're here to talk it over. They are struggling with, I believe it to be something of Duat, stalking and manipulating someone within their cairn, but it could too be an ancestor spirit. I am, again, pig-headed, as you know, and dour, and will commit to this to the end, but should I be wrong, we are asking plenty of questions to make sure.
Makes sense. I know of one way that could help you, though it will only help you in your task. I would foresee much renown being lost in the process, but if this is important to you, the loss in renown might be worth it.
You intrigue me by this, and again, I would have you bring it to them yourself, but what is this you speak of?
There is a tribe of leeches that seem to have the power to communicate with the Twice-Veiled. I've had a run-in with one over in New York not too long ago. Though we did battle, I did notice their control of the ghosts in the area, and that might be something to try. If they have this kind of strong connection with the ghosts, like I suspect, finding a member of this tribe might be within your group's interest.
It shocks me to hear, as so often I can only think of Sutek,
And I will spit at their name.
when we speak of the leeches and their kin. This is not my choice to make, nor information to hold alone. I would have you speak to the Alpha of Fomori's Bane and her Philodox to weigh upon this and have them make that decision for their own. They are Two-Hearts and Guards the Low. Their Theurge is also a close friend, Guides the Fallen. Those three in their pack can weigh this and decide. They are here now with me. They have been good friends, and well, they will see success. Renown be damned.
Very well. I will bring the information to them, and I will leave you to the rest of the moot, but it was something I wanted to bring to you. And although Sutek has his own brood, I believe that they come from different lineages, much like the tribes. I think Sutek's lineage is the ones we fight. Not to say that this gives any sort of weight or kindness to the others, but it seems this tribe, Giovanni, trace their lineage to one who still roams the mountains of Italy.
Well, I will keep a lookout for them. Perhaps should I see their or their kind across the veil. Tori, it was lovely to see you again. I hope our cross may pass again. I will be with you and guide you in your wisdom as you go and spread the message and the word.
Good luck to you, Zeb. May Owl guide your steps. The rest of you are kind of still just enjoying the moot, trying to get the vibe. You've probably joined a couple of games when Cora, Kyle, you are approached by a redheaded woman as she introduces herself as Tori Sands of the Stream. Zeb said that I should seek you and your pack and his pack.
How can we help?
I have some information. I'd been hearing about your ghost problems from some of the other Striders here at the Moot.
Sure. I think that we can discuss that. Did you want to talk about it here, or did you want to go somewhere more private?
I don't know why private would matter. It seems the whole Moot knows about your problems.
Fair enough.
Should we grab your companions?
Yeah.
And so,
gather everyone.
yeah, so you grab everyone. As Tori sits down, you're near the fires. As you hear a major crash and a kind of a boom, as you look aside and you see one of the young Aruns in ritual combat in full frenzy as the rest of the rest of the Moot who are watching over it are trying to hold him back as he's frothing and biting as he lost control and lost his challenge.
Do they look like they need any help?
Nope.
Okay.
Is it the Arun that I fought with?
No, it is not in this case.
Okay, good. I have high hopes for them.
As she sits and goes, I heard you were looking to try and gain information from the lands of Duat.
Yeah.
I have a potential avenue for you, but I will warn you that this avenue will likely cost you much in renown.
I'm willing to hear it.
As you likely know, there are multiple tribes of vampires.
Mm-hmm.
And we have gathered that one tribe calls themselves the Giovanni. And the Giovanni have the power to communicate with the dead.
Interesting.
Well, the loss of renown makes sense now.
That it does.
And this ability to communicate, it's more than being able to just speak to a ghost?
When I battled one in New York, they seem to have the ability to control ghosts and use them to spy, use them as surveillance for their domain and their nest. Luckily, my visions of Duat alerted me to this fact. But it does seem that some of these leeches have the power to control.
I don't relish the idea of working with the leeches.
I don't either. Are you saying that they can control the spirits?
They have the ability to summon them, like how we have the ability to summon spirits.
But these would be spirits, quote unquote, of Duat, correct?
Correct.
Ah, I see. So, in our eyes, it's basically a bastardization of what we do. Well, I guess it really falls upon whether this avenue is worth it.
That is not for me to decide. That is for all of you to decide. All I'm saying is that that path is known. There are other paths as well, but they are dangerous as well. There is talk that you can cross the second veil in the Umbra, but it is dangerous, and it is just as likely that you will fall into the abyss, the realms of the abyss, than it is to enter the Dark Umbra. That was my message to you, and so I wish to give it to you and let you all discuss it amongst yourselves to what you wish to do, or if you wish to wait for Zebulon to finish learning his rite. Good evening to all of you.
Thank you.
Good evening to you.
So, thoughts, everyone?
Is one wolf really worth this much trouble?
It's not just one wolf, though.
It's about down the line. What would happen if this continues to go on?
That it's affecting a member of this group that leads all this. This is the biggest project out of the Garou Nation outside of Europe right now. So that's why this is a big investment right now.
Fair enough.
Well, it seems that right now we have 3 potential avenues available to us. We have the leeches, we have the ritual that Zeb is learning, and then we have whatever hopefully is being learned back at the Sept.
What about the 4th of crossing the veil?
There's that one, the second veil one, but do any of us know how to do that? Do we know where to look?
Roy, you know that there are legends about crossing into the Dark Umbra, but it is that you have to find places strongly tied with death. The stronger the tie, the better. Graveyards, morgues are somewhat useful monuments built to death, or places that immortalize great tragedies and massive losses of life. Even better, where you would be allowed to cross in the Umbra. It would be like stepping sideways, but into the Dark Umbra. The catch, of course, is that if not done correctly, or if your gnosis fails you, you will end up in the near realm of the Abyss.
And I don't know how difficult that step is, do I?
No, it's just that, it gets easier with the scaling events that I had mentioned.
Gotcha. Okay. There are legends that say that you can step sideways past the second veil, one where it's tied closely to death. I'm sure there's been lots of battles or burials around this area that we can use to step sideways if necessary. My question then to you all is, how quickly does this need to be done? If time is of the essence, then we have to start crossing out some of these options. We can't just keep sitting on our thumbs.
Well, it's something to do while Zeb gets his training, at least.
Do keep in mind we're supposed to return to the Sept to speak with Teresa about everything we've found and what she has found on her end of things. I do not think that it is so urgent that it needs to be dealt with at this exact moment.
I think we should get the information from our Sept that they've gathered before we make any concrete decisions on which path, I guess, to take. Just because that might give us a little clearer view of what's going on, and we might be able to understand what exactly we need to do better so that we can make the right decision. And besides, Zeb won't be done with his training for 14 days?
At a minimum, 3 weeks.
Oh, minimum 3 weeks.
So 21 days.
So a little under a month. So we could get that information and maybe have a grasp on what's going on.
It seems possibly one of the fastest avenues is speaking with the Giovanni.
We really want to do that.
I would prefer to do that as a last resort.
The old Roy would have said the Giovanni would have been a great resource, but in my learnings, I think the second veil would be the best option right now.
Particularly for one that's speedier, I agree. I would rather we risk ourselves than risk, the innate dangers of working with the leeches.
Guards the Low speaks the truth. Lesser of two evils.
Alright. And so, you enjoy the rest of the moot, and then Eleanor drives you back the next morning. You don't get back home until about 3 p.m. the next day. You return back to the Sept, or close enough, as Eleanor waves you off. Alright, guys. Take care.
Eleanor.
Thanks for the ride.
Yep. as you are on the edge of the trailhead. It'll take another hour or so to track yourself up to the Sept grounds. And it's now 4 p.m. You'll have a few days to wait before Teresa is done. So you guys just gonna wait kind of anxiously?
I'm sure there's something we can, do for, prep for getting into the second Umbro, right?
The only thing I want to do, and I'm fine if we don't roleplay it out, is just visit Bear, because it's probably been a minute.
Okay. Yeah.
I'd like to visit Bear and then do some Sept guard duties.
Actually, yeah, it's been, Sept duties is definitely something. What are, Sept duties for a Thurge?
Usually you'd be helping the Keeper of the Land.
Okay.
So you're basically maintaining the park as a volunteer.
That seems perfectly fine, because Mark hasn't done that at the Sept yet.
So cool.
Visit Bear. Don't have to roleplay it out, of course, and get some volunteer work with the Keeper of the Land.
Is there any way to, make some sort of anchor?
What do you mean?
So when we step sideways through the second veil, is there a way to anchor an exit path?
Nope.
Or no? Okay.
That's why it's so dangerous.
Gotcha.
You might end up trapped.
Then visit Owl and do my Stargazer duties.
All right. And Dimitri?
I think I'll visit Owl with Roy, and then probably help around the Sept.
All right. You all do that as you do your duties, visit your spiritual guardians. Dimitri, Roy, you end up catching several mice and start tying them up and leaving them in the woods. Before finally, it is now June 30th, the day that you are supposed to meet Teresa. As you all start to approach, Kyle, specifically perception empathy, please. Difficulty 5. So all of you notice that she seems tired, as if she hasn't gotten much sleep. Kyle, you notice a step further. She's kind of got circles just starting to form under her eyes. She seems just... Oh, and I'm sorry, not June, September 29th. That was my fault. But anyway, she's kind of got circles under her eyes. She seems just completely just exhausted. And Kyle, you notice that there's something troubling her. Something just weighing on her mind. She seems both present and distant at the same time. Guards the Low, Fomori's Bane, Infernal Alphas. You all get the distinct disdain and sneer that she has.
Fate Dancer.
I've done much searching, and I have found records and spoken to ancestors who confirm that occasionally Garou cross the second veil. There seems to be credence to your theory, but it seems that there might be a way to get rid of it, but that will require some additional searching. It seems that the dead have the ability to manifest and possess only near things that they place great importance on, or they had very strong connections to. If you can find those things and destroy them, the ghost can't manifest.
Would these be things stored here at the Sept?
Potentially. My worries are that it is either that he feels a strong connection to the Sept or the Karen, which means that destroying that is not possible.
What if he felt a strong connection to Howling-King?
Then you would have to kill Howling-King. Which is the other thing that I don't revel in the idea of.
Are we certain that Howling-King is the only one he could possess?
From what I've read, ghosts can possess anyone as long as they're able to whittle down their willpower. But those legends go far and wide, and it's difficult to tell what is legend, what is human myth, Garou myth, and the truth, since the three brothers had very rare dealings with ghosts, and it becomes unclear. Some legends say that they would only be able to possess people who were close to them or blood relatives, which Howling-King being a Silver Fang means that he is very likely to be a blood relative to Faces-the-Storm. But others say that ghosts, as long as they have the ability, can possess others, but it is said that the ghost must be incredibly powerful to do so. Others say that they have to be worm-ridden ghosts first.
Worm-ridden?
Yes, there's a special kind of ghost. It loses all sense of itself and seeks only to destroy itself and everything around it in sort of a gleeful tribute to the destroyer. I know that ghosts have their own name for it, but none of our records know what it's called. And that those ones have different kinds of powers, darker kinds of powers. And that the original spirit sits in the back of its mind, screaming for control of a body it can never possess again.
Are there any records for how these ghosts might appear? My gut says that it would not appear as a perfect wolf, but...
I have nothing for it.
Spirit itself would have to take a form of some kind, possibly between possessions, as we're learning. So perhaps the tracks and the leavings that Zeb was able to pick up on was, yes, he may have been possessing Howling-King, but maybe unbeknownst to Howling-King, he's able to enter to and fro.
You notice Teresa look up as you see Regender talking fondly with Eric Ironshadow, as if the two are trying to make some sort of reconciliation. You see Teresa's eyes glaze over as she shifts into Krynos and howls her fury and starts to charge at Regender and Ironshadow.
Oh shit. I suppose we just should probably go after her and try and hold her down.
Yeah.
Yep. You suppose?
I suppose.
I'm grabbing popcorn. I'm just kidding.
Krynos it up.
Krynos,
Alright, spend a
react.
point of rage if you want to get to Krynos fast enough to
Yep.
intercept her.
So I'm
Yep.
going to have to frenzy, or do a
Potentially.
frenzy roll.
You'll have to do a
Potentially.
frenzy roll. It is the 29th. It is a crescent moon, which means it is difficulty... Actually, it's a new moon, so it's difficulty 8.
Mark's a very angry boy, so that result really surprises me. The one roll I don't want to succeed, and I succeeded at unsucceeding resoundingly.
No frenzies from you all around. As you all grab her successfully, as she's roaring and frothing, as Regender looks down, as he gives kind of this sad look and takes a deep breath. Ironshadow seems to place his hand on Regender's shoulder, nods, and seems to be saying something to console him, though the roars and the howls and the fury of Fate Dancer drown that out, unless you would like to make a perception alertness roll, difficulty 8.
Mark will.
Alright, make that roll.
think I will.
For Mark Roy, you hear Iron Shadow going, "It is regrettable, but understandable, her fury. And I apologize for my own outburst, as I said. But if you can get me to take the warder position, then I will step aside and let Howling-King be the deciding elder. I didn't want to be cut out entirely, and as the sept grows, then you can make a position for a Shadow Lord, of course." As he smiles, and Regender goes, "I'm glad that you've changed your tune and come to see reason after our meetings. Is your head feeling all right?" "Oh yes, the headaches have gone away. It's normal now. I was just in such a fury. My rage was boiling that it felt like it was going to crack my skull. Anyway, let's step away to calm her fury. It seems that the Infernal Alphas and Fomori's Bane have this under control.
Mark wants to catch a look at both sets of eyes. Regender's
He is too far away.
Dang it.
Also, you don't have eidetic memory to remember what Eric Ironshadow's
I don't.
eyes look like.
I played myself. No.
As Teresa, after a few moments, her fury starts to calm down as she shifts back into Hamid form.
Cora will gently, hesitantly, let go and shift back to Hamid.
Are you all right?
Fine.
Mark will shift back to Muhammad and just ask, what was that about?
Regender, his betrayals. The fact that even though he was going to cut Iron Shadow out, it looks like he's going to try and cut him back in to hurt the people of Older Brother again! And I'm tired. And my rage burns hot.
Dimitri is going to shift back into Hamid and say, well, unless something happened while we were gone, do you know for sure if Regender is going to cut him back in, or...
Regender's walking a tightrope. He needs all the allies he can get, even a slippery one like the Shadow Lord. You Wormcomers do tend to like to stick together as well. That is something I have learned the hard way many times.
Wormbringers, he says with a rage 9.
She hears the tone in your voice, and she goes, yes, Wormcomers. It is because your tribes came here, the desolation of your kinfolk, that released the Eater of Souls and wiped out Middle Brother. I have no regrets in calling you what you are, until you've made proper amends, as Kyle seems to think you will. I will withhold judgment. Anyway, if you wish to try and seek this something in the Dark Umbra, I can help.
It does seem like one of our most likely avenues, yes.
I know an old Uktena rite that'll allow you to travel into the Dark Umbra.
Well, that will certainly help.
It certainly will, she kinda sneers. I need to make some preparations, and twilight is the best time to perform this rite. Let us meet towards the western edge of the Bawn.
Of course. Are there any suggestions that you could tell us we need to prepare for, what we can bring?
You may want to bring some food. How long do you want to be there? You will need me to open the gateway again, and it'll have to be at the exact point and at the exact time. And if you aren't there and I perform the ritual and you are not there, then, well, you will be trapped for some time and I will not be able to communicate with you properly on how to get back. You'll have to find your own way back.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that.
Let us hope the ashen food of the Dark Umbra does not fill the belly, nor do the spirits there hunting them replenish your gnosis. Keep that in mind.
We will, thank you. There was also news from the Moot, if you have the time to hear it.
I have the time to hear it. What is it?
Kyle will kind of motion for everyone else to move away, if they would please.
Mark will leeringly step away and try to find some duties he can perform and prepare for the passing over.
No, walk off.
Yeah, Dimitri will step away.
And so will Rory.
A worm creature was discovered underneath an older brother cairn, and the elder there was executed.
You guys, as you're walking away, hear her scream, "What?" as her voice grows into a growl as she shifts into Krynos again.
Is this full frenzy?
Her eyes ignite in fury.
Damn it.
I'm spending another rage.
Alright, time to spend another rage. Dimitri is running back.
Spending a rage, making that roll.
As Kyle, before they get there, you are able to spend a point of rage to shift into Krynos, but she is going to take a swing at you.
Yeah, okay.
You may dodge, but because you were just in the middle of talking, your dodge will be at diff 7.
Okay, yeah. Oh, wait, I have to roll rage first, though.
You successfully dodge as her claw just comes down and smashes into the ground, swiping up dirt.
Going for the grapple.
Yeah.
So you guys grab her, hold her down. Kyle, you have to leave because you are the source of her frenzy. Before she calms down and shifts back into Hamid. Get off me.
Cora will just shift back to Hamid and walk off.
Dimitri's also gonna shift back and step away.
Mark's gonna look around. Did anybody else witness this?
Yeah, several have witnessed it.
Both of them?
Not Iron Shadow and Regender, just other members of the Karen.
Without shifting, but speaking to her in the Krynos tongue.
Best control your rage, Fate Dancer Rhea, especially one of your standing.
She takes that as an insult. Does not frenzy. As you see the rage boil in her eyes, and she just goes, sometimes our rage is righteous, guides the fallen. We all can't seek unity while stepping on those whose land you stole.
Mark will kind of point a Krynos finger, continuing the Krynos tongue.
But there is a principle to the position you hold, and look what you're demonstrating yourself to be.
Angry at supposed peacekeepers who take for their own. Don't preach to me, Mark guides the fallen. I know my rights, and I perform my duties. Perhaps you should look into yourself, and perhaps you should think about your own actions and their own ramifications, rather than begging at the feet of your own tribal elders when they claim peace and unity, when all they really want is to be ineffective and steal for themselves.
I'm sorry these things have narrowed your mind.
They've simply given my mind clarity. Learn your place, bastard.
Fate Dancer Rhea.
And I'll just walk away.
So, what are you guys gonna do for the few hours before twilight?
Talk to some kin and see if I can't try and gather some food and supplies.
Alright, you're able to get some food and supplies. You'll need to either bind them or use Mark's magpie swag. As long as the food is not covered in anything too technological. So they'd have to be wrapped in like paper and things like that rather than plastic coverings or aluminum foil.
We could probably get butcher's paper or something.
Yeah, I was thinking like jerky and something.
Okay.
Jerky in a leather skin bag. I would definitely get with Mark when we get to the circle and just give him the supplies that I got.
Okay.
Okay, definitely. We'll put that in my magpie swag then.
How much can we carry?
It's just a standard backpack's worth, so several pounds.
Okay.
And do remember, I like to specify I keep reagents in the backpack as well. So we might have to cut the food down a little bit too in the backpack.
Well, then I'll just carry it with me and bind the bag to me.
If you bind the bag, the stuff inside the bag does not get bound to you. That's why magpie swag is a fetish.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Keegan, I would also put some coins out and write down Dark Umbra.
Okay. For what purpose?
Coins to contact the Korax and let them know where I'm at.
Oh, got it. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Haha! I remembered something.
We do still need to discuss how long we're actually going to try to be there for.
Yeah.
10 days. It's like a week and a half.
If we can bring enough food for that seems reasonable. If we can't, then less.
So for all of you, you'd have enough food to go for probably 2 days, but Garou are pretty hardy. And if you're in the Umbra, you can spend a point of Gnosis per day of not eating to fuel yourself.
We can just say 5 days.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, it's not like we'd starve to death after... I mean, it would suck, and I'd prefer we not be without food if we run out of Gnosis as well, but that seems good enough. I assume we won't be able to recover Gnosis from, like, the moon, from meditation
correct.
either.
Correct.
Okay. And on that note, I would like to meditate so I can recover Gnosis.
Alright, make that roll.
It's not a bad idea.
Wits Enigmas, difficulty 8.
Yeah, I'll do that too.
I roll as well.
Yeah. After gathering your supplies, the sun is starting to set and you all meet on the western bawn. Fate Dancer already there, as you see a rabbit struggling in her hand, giving that scream that rabbits give when caught and filled with terror. Are you all ready?
Yes.
Very well. As she begins to chant slowly, as the rabbit kind of wiggles and writhes in her hands, as she pulls a knife from her side and begins to chant, she starts to plunge it into the rabbit as it gives out a scream as she pulls the knife through, cutting and ending its life. She then sticks her hand into the rabbit and covers her fingers in blood as she begins to draw the sacred sigils of the Dark Umbra and prayers to Uktena. She begins to move her hands through. It takes about 5 minutes and she goes, "How long do you plan to be there?
5 days.
Very well. We will meet back at sunset in 5 days. Good luck to you." As the blood kind of starts to stream up smoke, and the smoke forms kind of a gateway, as you can see the sept grounds, though everything looks darker, more dead, as she goes, "Pass through quickly."
I'll rush through.
You pass through. The wind is stilled. The burn scar seems more prominent. More strewn trees everywhere. Ashes covering your feet like snow. It's as if the fire happened just yesterday. And behind you, the trees look like they're filling with rot. Some more so than others. And others, you can see the clear signs of beetle kill. The trees having no signs before, or minimal signs of beetle kill. The sun hangs on the horizon, and it gives very little light. The twinkling stars barely come out, and the whole area feels like it's filled with shades of gray. What would you like to do?
I look at where to now? Or even Roy, because he's got the occult stuff.
We can try and make our way over and find a possible talisman or another spirit to talk to.
Let's do it.
All right. As you start trudging through, are you heading further into the mountains or back towards the cairn?
Back towards the cairn.
As you start moving through, you start to see wolf tracks, as well as human tracks, moving through this area.
Do we know what sort of talisman we're looking for? What it might be? What it might look like?
Not a talisman. When I mentioned that they have connections to people, it's that those people are what tether them to the places of the living. It's not an individual piece or item.
Gotcha.
Is there any evidence of the other side, like in the Umbra with the little wisp presence? Oh.
What you see is you'll actually see the other people, but they look older. Or it seems that some carry something. They look aged or broken, or you can actually see the weathering that death is making on their visage.
So kind of like a death mask version of themselves in this realm.
Yes. And everything has that. The ground, the trees. If a tree had some dying branches in the physical realm, the tree looks absolutely ruined now.
Okay. Maybe we need to search for the odd person out in this situation. Who is the desiccated old husk that looks like they don't belong? Or perhaps in this case, the perfect wolf, maybe.
Are these spirits leaving any tracks?
No, it's them. They're not spirits. There are like when you walk into the cairn, you actually see the people of the cairn walking on the other side of the veil.
Oh.
But you see the ravages of time on them.
Oh.
Like where battle scars are, they look like they fester.
So start looking for Howling-King.
All right. As you start looking, you do find someone, not Howling-King. It is a ghost as they're just looking around, rubbing their hands softly.
Is this just a ghost?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, shoot. Our third that has dealings with ghostlies is in training right now.
Well, you're the next best thing then.
I guess I could give it a try. Mark will kind of approach just slightly, not too close, but just kind of see if maybe he can see if the ghost sees him.
As the ghost turns, as he looks at you, you're alive? All of you?
I wouldn't think too much on it. We won't bother you much.
Did you see the good doctor too?
I wouldn't know of the good doctor.
Oh, yeah, sure. It's just that I was telling that other wolf about him.
Other wolf?
Yeah.
Do tell. We're a curious bunch.
Who are you? Like, if you don't know the good doctor, how are you here and alive?
Let's just say that we know ways of entering into here. And our time is short, definitely.
Okay.
You can call me Mark, and I'll point back to the gang. That's Kyle, and that's Cora, and that's Roy, and that's Dimitri.
Huh. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm Jake. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Jake.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Sorry. Anyway.
No problem.
The other wolf, yeah, he's been around. He's been kind of getting some of us to help him out, check things out for him. And crazy strong. He's been able to keep some of the Marauders off of us.
Really now? Could you maybe describe this wolf? Is he perhaps stand out immensely in this realm?
I wouldn't say stands out. I mean, he switches back and forth. Sometimes he's this just amazingly beautiful wolf. Silver white fur, amber eyes, just beautiful. The only difference is it's got weird thing or blemish, I guess, is it's got this kind of scar or gash around its chest.
Okay.
The other way it takes is it's a guy got I guess brown eyes, pretty tall, well built, guy clearly worked out in life, or at least that's how he saw himself. It's a part of himself that he carried over. He's still got the scar, but his clothes usually cover that up, and he's got kind of like this weird clothing. It almost looks like as he's snapping his fingers. You ever watch TV when you got like dukes, duchesses, things like that?
So he's dressed like royalty?
Yeah, exactly.
Mark will kind of cross his arms and put his hands on his chin kind of deal in that thinker's pose. Mark will turn around to Kyle. Do these descriptions match Faces-the-Storm and all?
Yeah.
This other wolf, what does he have you and the others do for him?
He goes about. We listen to these guys talk on the other side of the shroud, and then we just tell him. And then he defends us, like I said, from Marauders, and brings us in to help fight those Marauders as needed.
Has he given you his name?
He says not to worry about it. He's said just to call him the Hunter.
Do you know where we might be able to speak to this guy?
Last I checked, he was possessing someone. Like I said, he's crazy powerful. He's been trying to exert his influence, but I'd be careful right now. He's been using that power a lot, and his shadow's probably getting strong.
What's the import of that?
The import of what?
His shadow getting stronger.
Well, you don't know. Oh, God. When you die and you stick around, the part of you that you could control, the bad aspects, those aspects that wanted to just fuck the world and fuck you up, that inner hatred, well, there's oblivion here. The great maw of nothingness, of ending. And that gives that part of you life. It exists in you. It gives you powers. It takes those powers away, and it tries to possess you to make sure that you destroy your own afterlife until finally you turn into a specter. It gets control, and after it's had its fun, throws you into the maw of oblivion, and you dissolve for forever. No afterlife, no reincarnation, no wide whatevers. You're out of here. The mouth of oblivion grows just a little bit as it tries to eat all of us and tries to spit forth another maelstrom.
That sounds absolutely terrifying, ghostly friend. Jake,
you're telling me? Yeah. One of the last maelstroms knocked an entire battalion from World War I out of the underworld. Was a Marauder Legion, but I don't really hold with the Dead City that much. That's why I want to stay here close to my hometown, watch over my family. But then I got to deal with Marauders, and that's why the Hunter has been... Oh man, he's been a godsend. He's just crazy powerful. He's almost like an ancient ghost, but he's still got connection to all of his fetters.
And that's why we're here. He'll just kind of lift his thumb and point at Kyle. My packmate here definitely would like to have a word with this hunter.
Well, he's out. Like I said, I think he's not on this side of the shroud right now. He's joyriding in someone.
Turn to Kyle. Well, I think we just got our answer.
Could you tell us about the Marauders?
Yeah,
We'll be here a few days. We may have to face some.
Yeah, they're ghosts. Some are ancient, some not so much. All of them still gotta have fetters. Basically, they come through, they capture any ghosts they deem not worthy, and some that they even do deem worthy, and then they drag them kicking and screaming back to the local necropolis. And the necropolis either turns them into slaves to continue working the necropolis, or worse, they get taken to the forges and they get smelted.
Like, they get smelted.
Yeah, shit. As he pulls out a coin and he puts it in your hand, coin feels weighty and it feels like pure iron.
Ooh, that's... Oh wow, this place is scary.
That's a coin straight from Stygia. I use it to sometimes bargain. I have a couple on me, but not a lot. But each coin is a forged soul, marked and stamped. Their consciousness beat out of them, supposedly, though. They give me the creeps. As Mark, you start hearing kind of like this kind of slow and kind of painful wail in the back of your mind, seeming to emanate from the coin.
Mark will kindly give the coin back. Interesting.
As he puts it in his bag and you hear the clink of several coins.
Giver.
Well, as Kyle pointed out, definitely we have some days here. We will have to deal with Marauders.
Possibly. They've been coming here less and less. That's why a few ghosts have been started to hang out here. And it helps with our spying duty, right?
Yeah, definitely. So you're talking about fetters. Are these things that, like, anchor the ghosts to the living realm?
Yeah. People, places, things that we have strong emotional connections to. You ever have a fetter you hate? Whoo. It's things that we wish we handled differently in life. And so we hang about. Whether we love them or hate them, we just don't feel neutral towards them.
So do most ghosts have a negative fetter or positive fetter?
It's a mixed bag. Everyone's complex, man.
Is it possible for, well, I guess it is possible, a living thing or living being to be a fetter so that they can be possessed themselves?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yo, man, my kids are my fetter. I hang around and I make sure they're okay.
Okay.
They're what tie me here. If my kids were gone, or if my kids moved out of the city, I wouldn't be able to be here. I'd have to go to the parts of the underworld there now, or go deeper into the underworld. Their ghosts so old, their fetters dissolved away. Their family homes rotted away. And because of that, they couldn't come back here.
So if we do face these marauders, I mean, I suppose we could try and destroy their fetters, but is it more straightforward? Can we just fight them as the living?
That's a good question, man. I don't know. We have Corpus. You're the first living things I've seen down here.
I suppose could I try and touch you to see just directly, if you don't mind?
You're not gonna hit me, right?
No, just a pat.
So he kind of holds out his hand.
Shake it even then.
As he shakes your hand. Wow, I can feel you.
Okay, well then, we probably shouldn't have any trouble with them. I suppose unless they decide the living are something worth taking back.
The living are worth something because, A, we don't see it, and we can, man, I'm gonna be honest, touching you really, made my mouth water. I don't think you understand. Touching this as he grabs the tree. You ever try and touch something when your hand's half asleep? How it feels fuzzy? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I think so.
That's what it feels like all the time to all of us. I know the living had something slightly different, but you, as he kind of reaches out and he starts patting and rubbing your shoulders, feel you have a smell. You don't smell like ash. You don't as he kind of rubs your cheek as he's just kind of shaking. You don't smell like rot, and do you have a taste? If I were to cook your meat, would I be actually able to
Taste something.
Kyle.
Jake.
Step away, Kyle.
Yeah, I'll try and take a step back, see how Jake...
As you see him kind of shaking, as you see his visage kind of change, his eyes turn red, his cheeks get sunken and his teeth get pointy as his voice almost changes, but it is still distinctly his. Eat the fucker. Cannibalism's a taboo for the living. As you just see him, his face kind of change back. No. Get down. I'll give you some extra strength. Nom. Think about it.
Think of your kids. You won't win this fight.
As he just kind of holds it off. You can win. You can totally kick his ass. As Jake goes, I don't want to eat a person. Yeah, you do. Come on. And if they fuck you up, so what? It's better than being in this place, am I right? As he kind of pushes it down, you see kind of the black smoke kind of coming off of him. As you see streams of darkness and non-existence flow off of him for a moment and then disappear. So he kind of collapses for a moment, takes a couple deep breaths.
Are you okay?
Yeah. Oh, that took a lot out of me.
I'm sorry. We don't know this place very well. Do you need some time to yourself?
That's the last thing I need. Myself has been trying to talk to me, as you probably saw.
Well,
That was the shadow?
That was my shadow.
well, certainly we can use a guide here. Definitely.
I
But
don't think I'm good enough for that. You guys, good luck. And I'm willing to talk. There's other ghosts here that I can talk to as well. But
okay.
If you stay there for a moment, I just need someone to look at and kind of keep me grounded, you know?
Of course. Take all the time you need, Jake.
As you hear him kind of just whispering to himself.
Out of character, you said he's sitting down, right?
Yeah.
Dimitri's gonna be a pal and sit down with him.
Okay.
But maybe about a foot or 2 feet away.
I'm gonna put my hand over him, after he just got done touching Kyle. That was a joke, by the way. I'm not actually doing that.
I kind of figured.
Okay.
Cora, Roy, you both hear the whisper of, maybe I can get a bite. Maybe I can. Maybe if I cook him up, the wolf will protect me a little better. Roy, you're really unsure. You just get kind of better out of it. And Kyle, you hear him going, I just gotta wait it out. Maybe with them here, I'll be grounded long enough. Maybe I can get to the good doctor and he can make me better.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Jake, but I think it's best that we go now. We've got other ghosts to talk to, and we still want to talk to the hunter, too. But rest assured, we'll take care of the Marauders if they arrive while we're here.
Okay, thanks.
And I'm going to start backing away slowly.
Okay. So you see Roy kind of moving away. What are the rest of you doing?
I'm, backing up, moving away, too.
I mean, I suppose I'll follow suit.
Mark will turn around and he'll, before saying, thank you so much, Jake, and then walk.
Dimitri's gonna slowly get back up, because I guess he's the only one that sat down, and he's gonna join everybody else as they move away.
All right. As you guys start walking away, heading closer to the city, as you look over the horizon, you see some of the areas of downtown and southern Colorado Springs. The buildings look, even from here, more dilapidated than normal.
I'd hate to see the town like this act in the physical realm.
Hate to see all of it like this, I suppose.
As you move down, you see a little camp of ghosts. As they all turn and they look at you, their eyes gleam.
I think it's best we keep our distance from ghosts where we can.
Maybe in groups of 1 or 2, not whole camps.
And by camp, I mean about 6 ghosts.
Yeah, that's too many ghosts.
All right. As you move through, as you get past the bond, looking around, you find wolf tracks that were heading into the city.
I think we should start trying to follow these tracks.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Could I get or actually, I'll roll for you. Whoever has the highest perception survival.
I don't think I have survival.
Or perception primal urge. If you shift to Lupus Form.
I have 5 for that.
I have 5 as well.
I have 5 also.
Sounds like 5.
Looks like 4.
Okay. So Kyle or Cora, who wants to take it?
Oh, give it to Cora.
All right. Cora, you shift into Lupus Form as you start to get the scent from the footprints. It smells like mounted wolf pelt, where the life is gone. As you start moving through the roads of the park before starting to make your way towards downtown Colorado Springs. It takes several hours as night comes about. The lights turn on, though several are now flashing wildly or out altogether, more so than what you'd normally expect, as the partially dilapidated or truly dilapidated buildings still give off the eerie glow of their welcoming lights as they move through kind of boarded up windows or broken windows with bits of cobweb in it, as you see eyes looking out curiously at you. And you see a couple ghosts walking. They're laughing as they have a bag behind them, seeming to shudder. Their bodies are covered in a sort of sickly gray, almost iron-like armor. One of them seems to be carrying a handgun, and the other one seems to have a dagger crafted of the same iron-like substance, as you do see little flashes of faces seeming to play upon the blade in the gleam of the ever-present lights.
I think we can assume those are Marauders.
They match what I would think a marauder would look like.
As they stop and they look at you, "That's a big group," one of them says. The one with the knife, a woman goes, "Yeah, and they look different. They got a lot of color to their cheeks."
I think it's best we move on.
As one calls out, "Hey, where you going?"
I wouldn't even answer. Just keep walking.
Okay. So you guys keep going. As
Do they try and follow?
They don't seem to try and follow. They're looking like they're puzzling things out. As You guys find a nice back alley. It's a place you've been many times, Kyle. It's pretty late. The lights start to go out. Darkness is around you, and the scent ends here. You've gotten close. You definitely see signs of something as the ghosts, as you were walking, seemed particularly interested in Cora, the only one who is in Lupus Form.
I think we can get since this is where the trail ends. Since this is where the trail ends, is there any spot that I can go and just change back to Hamid? Trying to not have as many eyes on us.
Okay, well, you're in the alleyway.
And there's no, because I know sometimes windows open up to alleyways. There's nothing.
Yeah, there's windows that open up, but there's no real good place to go hiding, basically. There's several ghosts throughout here, several in garb that look to be well over several decades old.
Ah, great. I'll just try and hide myself as best as I can, I guess, and shift back to Hamid.
I have a question, Keegan.
Sure.
Can Pulse of the Prey help locate this guy? Because the ghost Jake did give me a crude description.
Okay. Yeah, you do get a sense of where this spirit is.
Thank you for getting us this far, but I think I know the next step we need to take to find this ghost.
By all means.
And I'm going to start walking or traveling in that direction.
As you start moving in that direction, back and forth, you see the place dying down a bit. There's still only just a few ghosts. And you see not quite campfires, but gatherings of others, as well as a oddly shaped, almost Roman-esque building that has no companion in the physical world. As you see several of the ghosts in the streets heading that way as night falls. As you move further out, and you see a majestic silver wolf lying and resting by a tree. It looks up, its eyes gleam with yellow, and it gives a growl as you start to approach.
Wait, yellow and not amber?
Well, amber, yes.
Okay. Greetings, wolf.
As the wolf speaks in plain English, greetings, Mindscape.
I'm a little taken aback that I'm known. You know of me already.
Why wouldn't I? We fought side by side.
Now, this is Carson. Carson?
Correct.
Are you the hunter?
That is what I have been called, yes. You tracked me here. Impressive. As he shifts, as he does appear to be Carson now, with his royal clothing.
You didn't make it hard to track you.
Perhaps.
Mark will just look at Roy. Not hard. Dude.
What are you doing to the physical realm? What you're doing is throwing the balance off we are already trying to correct.
I'm simply destroying those, or causing the feuds to reach an endpoint so that my tribe can reclaim what it took through rightful combat.
How was it that your tribe lost this sept?
Oh, kinfolk moved out of the area, but now that the sept has strategic value, I was planning on having our tribe reaffirm its control until, well, I unfortunately fell.
Oh, I see. There were rumors that you had fallen almost on purpose.
No. I would have rather been on the council than Howling-King, though my great-nephew has potential as well. I was hoping to groom him up to being a proper ruler and get him more refined.
But I suppose the gist of it is that you would happily cause the deaths of a dozen Garou for your selfish goals?
Not happily and not selfishly. The Silver Fangs are the rightful rulers, and the sooner that we establish that control, and the sooner we make the other tribes remember that we are the Alpha tribe, the sooner this petty infighting stops. The Sept of the Sacred Stone was rotting from the inside because two not even elders couldn't stop squabbling. I brought in the fight. I took a calculated risk that several would fall, and that would have hopefully pushed them to, out of desperation, work with me. Sadly, I did not expect the Baneclave, or that the spirals were that entrenched, or that they'd get such a lucky hit off.
You don't think that after people hear, after other Garou, non-Silver Fangs, hear about what you've done around this sept, you think they would keep following the Silver Fangs? It wouldn't tarnish your reputation?
Well, one, they likely won't believe you. Who's going to believe that a ghost of a Garou did anything? We rarely leave spirits. In fact, I was shocked when I came ripping out of my cocoon into this desolate place.
It did seem to be relatively unheard of.
But there's already those that believe.
You. And so that brings the question for you. If you try and tarnish my tribe's name, you tarnish that of Howling-King, you tarnish all of the efforts that Albrecht was doing on the East Coast. And I've heard he'd been doing a lot. Took out an entire Wormish cult, thanks to many falling in line behind him. Would you be willing to erode that away, Kyle Guards the Low, for your sense of truth and justice?
Well, it's a good question, I suppose, but one that might already be out of our hands. Your death caused a lot of questions amongst a lot of Garou.
Yes, and I was trying to remedy that by making Howling-King the leader I knew he could be. I just pushed him there sooner. Sadly, that Shadow Lord got in the way. But I've been doing my work to try and ease his mind up to the thought of a Silver Fang on the council. It took a lot longer than I meant to. But after months of working at it, Eric Ironshadow is starting to see the worth of being a warder rather than an elder on the council.
And that... Oh, shit. Never mind. I don't know that information.
That would be a Mark and I think Dimitri got that role?
I think that was Dimitri.
So not only have you been possessing Howling-King, but you're starting to possess other Garou as well.
Just a few. I don't want to rob them all. I just needed Eric Ironshadow out of the way.
And that's why you possessed him, didn't you?
Yes. I possessed him to give him something that would make him feel satisfied. I don't mind the stewards eventually coming onto the council. I just want them to be there after the royalty is.
What exactly is tying you to this place then? What is your fetter?
Why would I tell you that? So you can destroy it? No.
I don't think we would be able to, even if we wanted to.
I'll let you keep guessing.
I think he already gave his fetter away.
You can think. I won't say. It's, quite frankly, none of your business at this point. The question is, will you allow me to achieve Regender's goal of unity? Even if it wasn't exactly the way he thought it would be achieved? I was perfectly sincere in that I would have worked with him, and that I would have at least made sure that the members of the Uktena would be able to perform their rites as they saw fit. Isn't that a measure of justice for them? Giving them some say? Just because I am the tiebreaker? Or, eventually, of course, Howling-King is the tiebreaker. I still want him to succeed. I just need him to succeed now.
I suppose there are worlds in which you could call that a measure of justice. Ill-gotten.
I simply adapted to my circumstances, Kyle. There's so much of the wild in me. As he smiles, not unkindly.
The wild. That's interesting. I wouldn't call it that.
And what would you call it, Kyle, as you see the kind of scowl and you kind of see the streams of smoke and non-existence coming off of him?
Well, forcing everyone to act the way you wish them to stinks of the Weaver. The destruction you wrought between these people, their relationship stinks of the Worm.
As his voice kind of twists and you see kind of that red gleam in one eye, I'm simply acting as the Worm did if I was the Worm at all, the Balancer. I tore down their webs in their institutions, and I'll continue to do so. It is still possible, and through the destruction of their old rivalries, I will craft a new future for the Garou nation. As you see him almost like in half Krynos-like form, the eye gleaming, his teeth almost jagged as he seems to take a deep breath and try and force it out and get control of himself.
I think your arrogance would lead to the death of the Sept.
I'm going to go on guard with that, but go ahead.
Not the union you desire.
As he takes a deep breath, as he shifts back into his more human-resembling guise and goes, perhaps you can think that, but my eyes aren't clouded by the rage anymore, Kyle guards the low. Your righteous fury makes you blind to the truth that sometimes you have to do these sorts of things to get any sort of concessions from our people. Hell, look at how many tribes still defend the War of Rage and all of its atrocities. If I could have gotten Regender and Teresa Fate Dancer to kill each other, I would have. That way, at least, there would have been room for anyone, no matter who, at this point, to try and start something new. Their decades-old bickering is what's causing the death of the Sept, or have you not noticed the corruption festering under your very feet? Because Regender refuses to let Teresa and her tribe do what they must to keep it contained. Oblivion is what it's called here, and even though that spirit is not of this place, it is powerful enough for its tendrils to be felt even here.
The nuggets of truth you speak do not justify the paths you choose. There are ways, especially of one of your station, of your strength, that you could have challenged them more directly, more openly, but instead you chose this. And even before your death, you chose guile, waiting. You could have made these things known, spoken these truths to others, but you did not.
Older brother did not want another outsider to tell them the truth. They would have had to see it on their own, so I maneuvered things so that they would see it on their own and feel like it was their discovery.
I hear the Shadow Lords are fairly good at maneuvering things.
They are.
Well, perhaps then we leave it to them.
If you so choose. I'm sure Howling-King, your father, will be very grateful to you abandoning their tribe because of one individual you disagree with.
I do not profess to abandon a tribe. I profess to abandon you, your cause, your words, your foolishness.
I'm careful, Kyle. Though I don't have the rage now, I've also put things in motion so that I can feel it again and be on that side of the second veil again.
Kyle will just glare for a little bit.
If that's all, I'll leave your Sept grounds alone, since you've come this far, and, well, I'll let it normalize, but I do suggest you don't try and sound foolish and claim you found me. If you do that, that would absolutely destroy any chance of an Elder Council being formed. You know I'm right. My lies, as you call them, are the only thing holding up the glimmest chance of an Elder Council being formed, as long as it wasn't forced by my hand.
Kyle will turn and walk away a bit.
As you're walking away, you just hear him call out, "You know it's true, Kyle Guardslow, and you know that you should thank me too, because I showed you exactly who Regender is to you, to all of you."
If I should thank you for that, it should be obvious to you that I do not believe in him as a leader any longer. elder alone or elder as part of a council.
If that's the case, perhaps you should be the bridge to mend those wounds. You are of adequate rank to challenge him.
Kyle will just shake his head and continue walking away.
Or I'll follow. Just like, oh my goodness.
Mark will look at Kyle, look at Carson, look at Kyle, and then follow Kyle.
I'm gonna walk away, facing Carson.
Okay.
Just so that way I know he's not gonna like try anything dirty.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Dimitri is going to slowly walk away. He's going to slowly walk away with the others and kind of join Roy as he, takes a few looks back to make sure that Carson or none of the other ghosts follow them.
As you kind of go, it's 3 a.m. now, after your walk through the city.
I suppose we should find somewhere to sleep tonight. Or for the next few nights. We've got a while.
I think it'd be best if we head back to where we entered and at least hang out around there.
That'll take several hours. Remember, you walked from the
never
back
mind.
end of Garden of the Gods all the way to downtown and beyond Colorado Springs.
Okay. Ignore me then.
Yes.
Rest.
Gotta enforce that travel time.
You cannot fast travel while enemies are nearby.
Can't fast travel, period, you non-car having fucking bums.
I knew we should have gotten that car from the spider dealership.
Alright, so you guys find a parking garage to kind of hide in. There's no ghosts down here. As you sit down and open up the magpie swag to eat, there's nothing really combustible here. You'll have to find warmth your own way, as it does feel bleakly cold. That kind of chill in winter when it sets is just so cold it hurts your lungs to breathe, even though you're not getting any sort of frostbite. It's just that feeling that falls upon all of you in this place as you see the cracks in the concrete and the brambles already dead poking through the earth.
Would switching to Lupus help with the cold at all? Or?
It does help a little bit.
I was gonna recommend we all switch to Lupus and we dogpile.
Perfect.
And so that is what you do. You spend the majority of the next day traveling as you return to the Sept grounds in the Dark Umbra. As you sit, now kind of free from all the other ghosts that wander the city proper. And now you only have to look out for Carson's, spies.
So, guards low. What does this mean for the set?
My gut says that he's at least partially right, but that doesn't mean that he can't still pay for his crimes, regardless of what we ended up telling the Sept at the end.
Well, I'm torn, Kyle. I don't know Faces-the-Storm or Howling-King as well as you do. But I know it just feels that we all want the same thing, but we are literally killing each other over how we're gonna do it.
Yes, well, his path is the one that likely leads to guaranteed blood. Especially, it seems, in the short term. Fate Dancer couldn't even be around two Garou speaking to each other.
It may be necessary for the full-blown truth, then. If this needs to stop, and if the lives of Kin and Garou, the risk needs to stop now, then this needs to be handled with now.
Have you considered challenging Regender?
Even if I have a rank worthy of challenging him, I doubt I have the strength yet. But yes, I've considered it, but I don't think that should be the focus of our conversation now. It must be with the more immediate actions that we must take.
Well, he said he wouldn't interfere with this Cairn and Sept, but he didn't say that he would not interfere with other Cairns and Sept to interfere with this one.
So, eidetic memory, question.
Okay.
Did he say that, or did he say he would not enter our Sept grounds?
He would not enter your Sept grounds, and he said he was going to, basically not interfere as a ghost.
Okay. Even if he doesn't interfere further, now, or here, like you said, he could still do more damage elsewhere, I'm sure. Or influence people in the city that may influence us, even if he can't leave.
What if we were to tell a half-truth? We're truthful that a ghost did possess and mess with the order of things here, but we did not reveal who it was.
He did mention that he had plans on feeling the rage once again. This isn't the end of it. This is just a minor inconvenience, I'd imagine, for him.
Well, but what does that mean exactly? Because he said, oh god, it was something about like crossing over the veil again or on the other side of the veil. So like
reincarnation.
Right. Is it reincarnation? Is it zombie Garou? A one-time thing? Does he fully possess Howling-King?
Whatever we can suspect, we know he has a plan to try to get back, to re-enter the living realm.
Thinking back, actually, I think it would be more of a full possession, not zombie or any other possibility.
I would assume that he plans on fully possessing someone. I'm relieved that him becoming a spirit in this way was not intentional, but I don't trust him not to interfere again.
So then, I guess it's this. Do we prepare ourselves here in the now to try to slay Carson Faces-the-Storm once and for all? Or we try to play around his game?
I believe this judgment should be left up to the future leader, Kyle.
That's a big step.
This judgment's on all of us. We're the only ones here. We're the only ones that can address this, here and now.
I guess I shouldn't say that then.
But how do we know that Carson isn't anticipating us to attack him right now? And we don't know how many of these spirits, like the one we met, that he has under, I guess, that follow him.
That's true.
And we also do not know what these spirits can do. The one most familiar with these spirits would be Zeb, but he is learning. He's going to be gone for some time.
There is, though, potentially an untapped resource here.
What's that?
We are not the only ones who wish Carson to leave. I imagine the Marauders wish that deeply.
One could say that the Hunter's presence certainly has thrown things out of balance here. Maybe we can help things out?
What are your thoughts, Cora?
I do think that there should be a sort of, I'm not going to say punishment or effect for Carson, because what he did was wrong. And since we are the only ones here who can do anything about it, we need to. Though, what that is, I am not sure, because I hate saying it, but what he's doing here helps the spirits here, keeping them safe from the Marauders for the most part. But I don't, because of what he has done in the physical realm after his death, and even before, I really don't trust that he's going to stick to his word. So I'm two-hearting it up and not able to make a decision because I can see both. Like I can see both sides, and
It's
I think he
like
should just die.
It's like I engineered a moral dilemma.
All right. To put it in easier, plainer, more strict terms, what would the punishment be, like, handed down by a Philodox to someone who tried to engineer the destruction of two of the highest ranking members of the Sept by causing them to kill each other?
Likely a punishment, right, that would lead to death. The most likely one would probably be, hang on, I believe would be the right of, not the right of the hunt. Well, it's the one where you and your pack basically hunt him down, and he's allowed to reclaim honor by fighting back. As you run after him, you hunt him down, you corner him, you fight it out, and he regains some honor for fighting and killing you, or fighting back, injuring and maybe killing one or two of you, and then you guys kill him. as a way to show that what he did was not worth surviving, but he was doing it not necessarily out of pure malice. There was a, very Garou reasoning behind it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So we can't engineer that right. I don't have that right.
Yeah,
the literal
it's called the hunt. There we go.
But conceptually, that's pretty much the idea, right? I mean,
he's pretty much tainted the effort here. The effort that the Sept is trying to do with Sacred Stone, 5 mirrors.
I would like to point out that Jake did mention that his shadow is growing stronger. And with that said, the darkness and the bad or evil is growing stronger as well. So can we really take his word?
I mean, I don't think so. Regardless of the shadow, frankly.
Well, then that's just an extra layer to it. So I think the decision is made.
Alright.
And I look around and I try and get some sort of, affirmation.
Yeah, Dimitri is going to nod and say, I agree with Roy.
Cora, Kyle, or Cora, Mark.
Yeah, I don't think that. I don't trust him even without the shadow growing problem. So, yeah. I wonder if we are strong enough to complete this, though.
Well, he should be super strong for a ghost, but not necessarily have the same powers he had as an elder.
And as we know now, he does not have access to the rage.
Hmm.
And it is possible that we could convince some of the Marauders to fight him as well.
It's also a good idea.
Yeah.
My vote's for this.
Also, it has the added bonus of maybe some of the Marauders die, so people like old Jake are not safe in the long run, still, but at least a little bit, it's...
And we will see how that hunt goes next time. Thank you to everyone who listened. We'll catch you in that next episode. Bye.
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 Goodbye.